Hello everyone. Today's video is on how to dial in and do your one thing. Before I start talking about that, let me introduce myself. My name is Lynn Schrader, and I empower men and women to step outside of their comfort zone and begin living a life and running a business that they could have never imagined. So this idea of dialing in and doing your one thing. So I'm a business coach, and I coach people all the time on narrowing their focus so that they can achieve goals. Now, this coaching that I do really has the basis from a book that I've read, and it's called The One Thing. So the things that are in this video today are really coming from the information that I've read from this book and how I go ahead and I coach people. The idea of dialing in to your goal is so important in today's day where we have so many distractions, text, emails, beeping noises, just life in general. We are filled with distractions now more than ever. However, if you are running for a goal or you have something in mind that you want to achieve, it's super important to dial down your focus and create this mentality of I've got to do my one thing. So, narrowing our concentration down really can produce extraordinary results. And those extraordinary results are definitely determined by our focus and our narrowing. But if we're not careful, you and I, myself included, can begin living these or believing these lies that have been out there for ages that tell us that it's okay if we don't narrow our focus down. Do you ever feel like that you're chasing a shiny object? You're going to chase the next best shiny object because you've heard great things about this shiny object, or people have talked about this shiny object, or you've watched people chase this shiny object and you want to do it too. That can distract us. If we can become like a squirrel, we can become like we're going to be chasing unicorns. We're going to be doing those exciting things when really we need to narrow our focus. So I've come up with, and actually these come from the book that I've been reading, but I'm going to put my spin on it because I think that's important to do. But there are some lies that you and I can believe that take us away from our one thing. The first lie is that really everything matters equally. Everything matters the same. Now let me back up a little bit and talk about that word equally or equality. I am 1,000% behind the equality of humanity, of social justice. I never want to feel like I'm better than someone else because of their lifestyle, their ethnicity, their where they are in this world. And if I do, I hope somebody points it out. So I'm not talking about how equality doesn't matter in that realm, because 1,000% it does. Everybody is created equal. However, when we talk about achievement, that's where equality is a lie. Our life is defined by choices, and it's super important that we make good ones, right? It's not a no-brainer. However, you and I can be overbooked, overextended, overcommitted, you name it. We can feel like we are being pulled in 1,000 directions. Do you ever feel like you're on that hamster wheel? Or that you're on that big Ferris wheel and you can't get off? Or you feel like you are a pinball that is just bouncing from one thing to the next? Or when I had younger kids, I felt like I needed to be this octopus and have more arms because I was overextended. Do you feel like that? Do you have a to-do list like I do? In fact, if you could look behind the camera, you would see a wipe-off board with my to-do list. However, I'm going to tell you what I do on that to-do list. I used to have a list of 50 things. 50 things, and every one of those things on my to-do list felt urgent. When everything feels urgent, everything feels equal. I'm going to repeat that. When everything feels urgent, I've got to do this, everything starts to feel equal. However, that's not true. Some things are not equal, and productivity doesn't, let me rephrase that. Our activity, all the things that we're doing, doesn't necessarily equal productivity, right? We can try to do too many things and not be productive at one thing. So achievers, people who have goals, always work from a clear sense of priorities. Their to-do list is not really long. First of all, a to-do list is long. The book, and I completely agree, calls it a survival list. Let me be very honest with you. I came back from vacation last week, and I immediately went to my wipe-off board and I made a list of 23 things. It was my survival list. And all of those things on there started to look equal, but they weren't. They weren't. That's the difference between a to-do list and a success list. Is the length of your list. A to-do list is going to have a whole bunch of things that feel urgent and feel equal. However, a success list is short. A to-do list pulls you in all kinds of directions. I coach people on that. If you have a to-do, if you feel like you're being pulled in all directions, you're not focused. So a to-do list pulls you in all kinds of direction, and a success list aims you in a specific direction. So you could be all over the board, or you could be on the route to success. Here's what you have to do when you have a to-do list. Keep asking yourself, what matters most? What matters most? Say no, say never, say later, say not now, but do what matters most first. Doing the most important thing is always the most important thing. So lie number one is that everything is equal. Everything is equal. Well, on the success spectrum, not everything is equal. You've got to narrow your focus and begin making a success list. Otherwise, your to-do list looks equal. Number two, second lie is that multitasking works. Multitasking works. Who out there, myself, has ever adopted the phrase that I'm a multitasker, and you wear it like it's a badge of honor, or it's some great achievement? I can multitask. Well, it's a lie. When I coach people, I say multitasking is a lie. Let me differentiate what juggling is versus multitasking, because I used to think they were the same, and they're not. So juggling, if you watch a juggler, typically they have three things that they're throwing up at once: balls, pins, whatever. And as one or two go up, one gets caught, and then the other one, and he's always or she's always catching one. So juggling is you're going from one ball, one pin to another. But multitasking is you're doing 1,000 things at once, and it doesn't work. You can't even focus on two things at once. And did you know, and I don't know where this number came from, but did you know that you and I have at least 4,000 thoughts that enter our head, our brain every day? 4,000. How can you and I concentrate if we're constantly trying to do more than one thing effectively? We can't. That's why they talk about distracted driving. Distracted driving, it's true. So you and I, the lie that we have to recognize is that multitasking is okay. It's not. You cannot do more than one thing effectively. So as you are looking at your success list, remember, you can't multitask. You've got to hone in your focus into that one thing that you want to achieve. Lie number 3. Lie number 3 is a balanced life. We can all lead a balanced life. It's not true. We cannot live a balanced life. It's a great idea. It seems practical, but it's really not. Time on, and here, let me explain this. Balance, think of a balance, and it's perfect. It's like this. Not one is down, not one is up. You and I, when we take time from one thing to live our life, it's going to mean that there's time spent away from something else. So the balance is no longer balanced. So it seems like a good idea, but it's not true. When you say yes to one thing, what are you doing? You're saying no to something else, and that makes the balance not, that makes it out of balance. Magic in your business life does not happen in the middle. The magic happens at the extreme, when you focus on your one thing, when your life becomes out of balance because you're focusing on that one thing, that's where the magic happens. So you and I, if we can begin to replace the word a balanced life with a counterbalanced life, that will do us much, that will be so much better for us to keep our goal, our focus on our goal. Here's the deal, and here's why it's counterbalanced. You never want to get so far at one extreme that it seems like forever that you get back to the other extreme. Meaning you can't focus so much on one that your life, your family, your relationships gets out of balance. But what it does mean is for a period of time when you're focusing on your goal, you have permission to let your let your life be counterbalanced. While you're working on one thing, let this go. And don't let it go for so long that you don't come back. But it's just long enough for you to focus on your one thing. Don't lose your focus on your life, family, friends, relationship, and faith so long that you can't come back. Think of it as 2 buckets. You've got your life bucket and you've got your business bucket. At some point, they have to be out of balance, but don't wait so long that you don't bring them back. But give yourself permission to know that your life does not have to be balanced. It's a lie. It's a lie, because as soon as you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to the other. So as a summary, and what I coach people on all the time, is when you focus and dial into your one thing that you want to achieve, you will cut through the clutter. You will dial down your stress. You can just dial it down because you won't feel like you're trying to be that octopus. You're dialing it down. You're focusing on one thing and you're becoming less stressed. You will overcome feelings of overwhelm. They'll be dialed back. You will stay on track when you focus on your one thing. Your energy will be revived, and you're going to see results in less time. When I think back to when I got back from vacation and I made that list of 23 things, and as I sat down and I thought, Lynn, you coach on this all the time, and I got up and I began erasing the things that were not my one thing. And I made a success list. I knew that I'd get to those other things, but they were not part of my one thing. And you know what happened? I felt my stress level starting to decrease. I felt like I was actually decluttering my heart and my mind. I felt like I was on track again, and I felt success coming my way. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, please share it with somebody that you know that is going through something in their life that they feel like they are out of balance, or everything matters the same to them and they're losing their focus. So share it with them. And of course, if you'd want to talk about coaching, you can send me a private message, because I'd love to talk to you about your goals, your dreams, and your one thing. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.